Okay, thank you.
Every year, almost 1,000 people die when waiting for a transplant because there simply aren't enough donated organs. Currently, you have to sign up to become a donor. But should the law be changed so that it's assumed that consent has been given unless people opt out?
Well, Gordon Brown is in favour, as are 2/3 of people, according to a BBC poll. Let's hear from Rod Lynette, who's been waiting 4 years for a kidney transplant.
I go to family gatherings and I say, you've been on this for quite a long time now, Rod. You must be further up the list. I said, no, hang on a minute, that ain't the way it works. You know, you're either on the list or off the list. It's like waiting for a bus that never comes. You know, don't let these organs go into the ground. Don't do it. You know, give it, you know, I need a life. I need to, you know, earn money. At the moment, I'm costing the NHS a lot of money each year. You know, if they gave me a kidney 4 years ago, they would have saved a lot of money.
Well, that is his story. Intensive care doctors say they are deeply concerned about any radical changes on the law on organ donation.
Well, Christine Cox helped set up the NHS Organ Donation Register, and Imogen Shillitoes from the British Liver Trust. Good morning to you both. Christine, you set up the register after your brother died in 1989.
That's
and
correct.
You donated all his organs to the NHS. It seems that the argument is on your side, so to speak, because 2/3 of us believe that there should be presumed consent.
Yes. I think that the time has now come. I think the public are ready to take the next step and to go with presumed consent. I think people appreciate that if it works well for 14 other European countries, it can work equally well here, because the freedom of choice won't be taken away. If people do have strong beliefs and they don't support it, that's absolutely fine. But with over 22,000 people on dialysis, with over 8,000 people on the waiting lists, how many more people will lose their lives until we change the law?
So, Imogen, if it does save lives, and also many people make the point as well, you save lives, you're saving money, presumed consent, do you think that should get the go-ahead?
Well, we obviously do need to get more organs available for donation, for transplant, because organ donations save lives, that's completely clear. But if only if it was simple as to just get a change in the legislation, obviously we'd be urging for that change today. But sadly, the truth is that it's often practical difficulties that prevent an organ being given to somebody on the transplant waiting list, not consent issues.
Okay, practical, but if there were more available, you know, they're not available because there's no consent. If there were more available, then those practical issues there wouldn't be so many, would there?
We want to get those practical issues sorted out, and those issues could be sorted out right away. It wouldn't take the years it would take to get a change in the law if there was to be the necessary public debate and with all the passage through Parliament. And we really do need to get action now to improve the number of organs available for transplant.
Opinion is a bit divided in the medical profession, and particularly among intensive care doctors. Half of them don't particularly support this idea.
Yes, I was interested to hear the report last night that you ran on the news. And I think that they're possibly concerned about the increased workload. I think that it's very important that their first responsibility is to the patient, whether that be a donor or a recipient. And I also believe that they need to think more about the long-term benefits. It would save the Department of Health so much more money. It's cheaper to give a transplant than to keep somebody ill.
Isn't there not also, though, a potential conflict of interest where a doctor would be faced with a position where, well, we can harvest these organs, to put it bluntly, or we can fight a little bit longer to try to save this person's life?
Well, that's an interesting point. My brother died in intensive care, and there has been a lot of talk about the relationship between the clinician and the family. And from my point of view, it's quite clear. There were 3 sets of doctors that looked after my brother. The first set were responsible for his well-being and for his health. The second set had to decide as and when brainstem death occurred. And the third set came in to retrieve the organs. So I don't quite understand why they are concerned. The medical profession are quite clear in their rules of engagement here. The transplant coordinators oversee it. And it's very important that the patient's interests are paramount.
I'm very interested as well from the point of view that you chose to give your brother's organs away. They were given away. If there's presumed consent, then there's much more pressure on families. Are you not concerned by that?
No, I don't think so, because in the case of my brother, he had told us that he wanted to give his organs, and that is why we currently have the opt-in system, you join the register, you discuss it with your relatives, and then everybody is clear as to what you would like to happen. So I don't think that would be a problem.
In Spain they have presumed consent and they have nearly 3 times as many donors as we do. End of argument, surely.
Well, yes, we need to learn the lessons from Spain. Spain has an excellent record of ensuring that people on the transplant waiting list get the organs they so desperately need. They do have presumed consent, but they also have all these practical measures in place, such as better donor coordination, collecting data on which hospitals are doing well, and ensuring that clinicians are supported in talking to people that are at the end of their lives and their families to make sure that that process works smoothly, all the way from when a person sadly dies to when that organ is able to be put into somebody who may be very seriously ill at the moment.
Okay. All this, of course, is the subject of a review at the moment, isn't it? And the recommendations expected. Do we know when they're coming out?
I'm not sure. I think it's in a couple of months' time,
okay.
Hopefully before Christmas.
All right.
The sooner the better.
Okay. Christine, Imogen, thank you both very much.
Thank you. You are watching Breakfast. We saw some very beautiful sunsets a little bit.